The Kidnap, a game by Chilla Art, is a horror experience centered on themes of family dysfunction and childhood trauma. The story follows Renya, a young boy who is coping with the disappearance of his sister, Sakiko. Their neglectful mother has left them to fend for themselves, and the narrative explores Renya's journey as he tries to unravel the mystery of Sakiko's whereabouts. The Kidnap was developed and published by Chilla Art, a studio known for creating atmospheric and thought-provoking horror games. So stick around to see how this ends. For those that haven't played the game, beware, there are spoilers. The opening sequence of The Kidnap sets the tone for the game's deeply unsettling narrative. In a dimly lit room with windows boarded up, the unnamed character sits on the floor while the angry voice of his mother echoes through the house. Moments later, the door bursts open and she storms in, her shouting growing louder and more hostile. As she continues to berate him, he silently picks up a hammer and gazes up at her. The screen fades to black and the silence is shattered with the sickening sounds of blood splattering. The game jumps to Renya. He wakes up to find that he has wet his bed again. He leaves the room to seek help, but overhears his mother yelling at his sister. Their mother expresses annoyance, wishing they weren't around, and regrets giving birth to them. As she continues to hurl harsh words, she's packing a suitcase in her room. Renya watches as his sister silently walks back to her own room. If Renya approaches his mother to tell her that he wet his bed, she dismisses him, saying she's too busy and doesn't want to be bothered. If Renya goes to his sister, Sakiko, she doesn't scold him but instead tells him to gather his sheets. The two then go downstairs, where Sakiko teaches Renya to do his own laundry. During this moment, the sound of their mother leaving the house is heard. Renya wakes up hearing his sister call for him from the kitchen. As he goes downstairs, he notices trash bags piled up in mountains throughout the house, along with scattered empty cups of noodles on the dining table. Some of their pet fish have already died. In the kitchen, Renya finds his sister cooking at the stove. She tells him that the food is nearly done and asks him to hang the laundry. Once Renya finishes hanging the laundry, the food is ready. Sakiko calls him over and they sit down to eat. As Renya looks around, he spots his sister's exam sheets. All of them have perfect scores of 100%. She's been working hard in hopes of impressing her mother so that she can come home. On September 5th, Renya wakes up and begins his morning routine. Putting away laundry, he empties the washing machine, folding his clothes and placing them in the drawer. However, as he goes about his chores, he becomes puzzled when his sister, Sakiko, doesn't call out to him like she usually does. Concerned, he searches the house but can't find her anywhere. His confusion deepens when he notices that her shoes are not by the door, a sign that she hasn't returned home. Realizing that she's been outside during the heavy rain, Renya leaves the house and calls out for her, but despite his effort, he is unable to find her. 3 days later, Renya is at school, helping to clean up the classroom by sweeping the floor with his classmates. As the class ends, the teacher steps up to the podium and requests silence, reminding the students to be cautious of strangers and suspicious adults on their way home. One of the students shouts a humorous but unsettling comment, warning the class to watch out for a clown that's been rumored to be in the area. As the bell rings, the students stand, exchange their goodbyes and prepare to leave for the day. After gathering your friends around the school, you all prepare to go. On their way home, they come across a park, and his classmates suggest playing a game of hide and seek. They decide to use rock paper scissors to determine who will be it. No matter what Renya chooses, he will always end up playing as the seeker. After counting to 20, he begins his search for his friends who are hiding in the park. If you look at the road, you can see someone watching the kids play together from behind the fence. After finding all your friends, the children prepare to play one more round of hide and seek. A strange man suddenly runs up to them and asks if he can join. The children, understandably wary of the unfamiliar adult, hesitate, one of the kids asks Raina whether they should let him join. Raina agrees, though with some hesitation. One of the other kids, sensing an opportunity, suggests that since the man is an adult, he should start counting inside a nearby container. The man, eager to participate, runs into the container, and they lock the door behind him. Seizing the chance, the children quickly grab their bags and run away. The man watches them from the container door, unable to stop them as they flee from the increasingly suspicious situation. After what running feels like far enough to escape the strange man, the group of kids continue on their way home. They pass by a shop, and the others start convincing Renya to steal something. Despite the player having the option to refuse, Renya's desperation over his lack of food at home leads him to go inside and steal items anyway. Renya sneaks through the store, stealing chips, cup of ramen and a drink without being spotted by the elderly shopkeeper. Another member of the group grows concerned when she spots the strange man from earlier entering the shop, but once she sees Renya is okay, continuing their journey home. After splitting from the other kids, Renya heads home alone. On his way, something catches his eye. Upon arriving home, he washes his hands and places his snacks on the table. He then goes to his room, changes his clothes and sits down at his desk to do his homework. Once Renya finishes his homework, he notices a clown staring at him from behind the door. As soon as their eyes meet, the clown quickly shuts the door. Renya seems unfazed by the encounter and shrugs it off. He heads to the kitchen to prepare his cup of ramen. After Renya finishes his cup of ramen, he heads to feed the fish, only to discover that the fish food has run out. He then goes to the TV to play video games. However, he hears the doorbell ring, and upon checking the intercom, he sees the face of the clown staring back at him. Upon further inspection, Renya finds a suspicious note left on the table in the house. Suddenly, a toy morning star materializes and the house is filled with balloons. The game then gives the player a challenge. There are only 2 minutes to pop all the balloons, a task that proves difficult as the time limit is tight and the balloons are scattered throughout the house. As the 2 minutes run out, Renya opens the door on the second floor, decorated with a rainbow picture. Behind it, he sees a chilling sight. A clown standing over his sister who is trapped inside a cage. The clown locks eyes with Renya, who is frozen in place by the horrific scene before him. Renya wakes up relieved that it was just a nightmare. He hears the family cat meowing and decides to find her. He tracks the cat down to a closet, but is suddenly confronted by the creepy guy from the park. Renya realizes he's been kidnapped and is taken back to the kidnapper's house in the stranger's van. To make matters worse, his sister, Sakiko, is also in the van with him. Renya wakes up in a locked room, with a bloody bedroll and a hammer. Not knowing where he is, he uses the hammer to pry the boards away from the window and escape onto the roof. Spotting Sakiko in the neighboring room, he tries to get her attention, but she's listening to headphones and cannot hear him. Just then, the kidnapper returns home. Renya needs to get Sakiko's attention so they can escape together, but when he reaches her room, he is shocked to find that she does not want to leave. She reveals she asked the kidnapper to take her, hoping that their mother would realize her love for her children and come and rescue them. Reeling from this revelation, Renya decides to explore the house in search of an escape. While searching, Renya finds a diary that seems to belong to the kidnapper, whose name is Sarao. He learns that Sarao's mother suffered abuse from her husband. Sarao also used to be abused, being locked in a room for long periods of time, the same room Renya woke up in. Renya makes his way downstairs and discovers the kidnapper passed out drunk in the kitchen. He grabs the kidnapper's keys, but as he tries to leave, he's When Sakiko enters, she tells Renya to relax. explaining that the kidnapper listens to everything she says. She urges Renya not to ruin her plans to get their mother to love her again before leaving the room. If he decides to obey Sakiko and go along with her plan, they remain at the kidnapper's house for 2 weeks. Renya doesn't agree with his sister's plan, but he still trusts her. One day, while they're in the kitchen preparing food, the doorbell rings. It turns out to be a police officer. Renya seizes the moment and tells the police officer everything, leading to the kidnapper's arrest. Their mother is contacted and comes to pick them up, visibly embarrassed that her children's actions led to police involvement. Once home, Sakiko seems happy, believing her plan worked. However, their mother expresses frustration about their behavior and the attention from the police, showing more concern for how others perceive her than for her children's well-being, and she leaves the house once again, leaving Sakiko devastated. Returning to Renya's choices, he needs to find a way to distract Sakiko and the kidnapper. Renya sneaks around the house and finds a TV remote. Since Sakiko is watching TV, he uses this as a distraction. He also discovers a battery and something in the attic. When he investigates the attic, he encounters the ghost of the kidnapper's mother and finds human remains. Back in the house, Renya uses the battery to facilitate his escape. He takes the kidnapper's bike and rides away as fast as he can. With the kidnapper in hot pursuit in his van, Renya faces another choice. He can go to his friends Keiji's house or Masahiro's house, or back to his own home. If he chooses either Keiji or Masahiro's house, the concerned parents will call the police, leading to the kidnapper's arrest, with Renya's mother picking them up and abandoning them again. If Renya opts to return home, the kidnapper crashes his van and chases Renya on foot. Renya makes his way home, but struggles to find a place to hide, leading to him getting caught by the kidnapper again. If Renya decides to go to his third friend, Kohime, the outcome is different. Kohime's mother works at the child guidance center, taking care of troubled kids. She agrees to shelter Renya and Sakiko for a couple days. Kohime's mother speaks to the kidnapper and somehow he convinces her that he means no harm. She tells Renya and his sister to stay away from the man and suggests foster care for them both. One day at the garden center, their mother suddenly arrives, announcing that she's taking her kids back. As they drive home, she asks what happened. Sakiko admits that she asked the kidnapper to take them, hoping for a better life. Naturally, this explanation doesn't sit well, and their mother immediately turns the car around, heading straight back to the kidnapper's house. When she arrives, she confronts him with a fit of rage, even striking him. This triggers something deep inside him, painful flashbacks of the abuse he endured from his own mother. Overwhelmed, he snaps. In a sudden violent outburst, he grabs a garden tool and stabs her, killing her instantly. Sakiko is devastated. The eeriest part is Renya's reaction. He simply stands there, smiling. Moments later, the police arrive, arresting the kidnapper and securing the house. Inside, they uncover the horrifying truth. Dismembered body parts hidden in the attic, and undeniable evidence of his crimes. With the kidnapper taken away for good, the story comes to a chilling conclusion. That wraps up our video. What do you think? I'd love to hear your thoughts, so drop a comment below and let's keep the discussion going. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.